Most people walk through life wearing an invisible leash. They think they are free because they buy what they want, say what they want, and go where they want. But look closer. One slick insult from a stranger ruins their entire week. One sudden corporate layoff completely destroys their identity. One text left unread makes them question their entire self-worth. They have built massive empires of cards on a foundation of absolute emotional glass. They are physically free, but psychologically enslaved. Centuries ago, Machiavelli exposed the ultimate truth of human nature. The individual who cannot govern the territory between their own ears will inevitably be conquered by someone who can. The true battlefields of the modern world aren't corporate boardrooms, political stages, or street corners. The real war is raging right now inside your skull. And the people who win that war, the ones who can weaponize their silence, execute ruthlessly under pressure, and control their emotional impulses, are the ones who rule society without ever needing a crown. Today, we are stripping away the comforting lies. We aren't talking about toxic positivity, self-care routines, or finding your inner peace. We are diving into 10 brutal, dark psychological shifts that will make you mentally dangerous. In this world, you are either the architect or the asset, the predator or the prey. The calm always colonizes the chaotic. If you choose to leave this video right now, return to your comfort. But if you stay until the very last sentence, you will walk away with an impenetrable mind. You will become impossible to read, impossible to manipulate, and completely impossible to break. Let's begin. 1. Sovereignty over status. The masses are obsessed with the jewelry of power, luxury vehicles, verified check marks, designer labels, and fat bank accounts. But external status is a fragile hallucination. A tycoon can possess billions, but if he throws a temper tantrum when a deal falls through, he is nothing more than a well-funded toddler. Conversely, a person can possess absolutely nothing, yet their absolute poise, strategic stillness, and unwavering focus can command an entire room. True power is not what you own. It is how much of yourself you retain during chaos. Machiavelli observed that blind luck controls half of our earthly reality, but the remaining half is surrendered to the grit of our own minds. A fortified intellect twists bad luck into a masterclass, converting agonizing pain into pure, unadulterated discipline. A fragile intellect collapses under the exact same weight. Consider the reality of the global markets. Entire fortunes are erased in a matter of milliseconds by automated trading algorithms. Political regimes shift overnight. Corporate structures are hollowed out by sudden technological disruptions. If your identity is tied to the title on your business card or the balance in your investment portfolio, you are playing Russian roulette with your mental health. You are giving the external world permission to destroy you whenever it sees fit. When you train your mind to master its own narrative, external circumstances lose their ability to hijack your life. You stop reacting to the world. You start directing it. You realize that a financial loss isn't a tragedy. It's an expensive tuition fee. A professional demotion isn't a humiliation. It's a tactical repositioning. The shift, the fragile mind, needs the world to be polite and predictable to feel secure. The dangerous mind treats the world's hostility as raw, unrefined fuel. Rule yourself first. When fear becomes an informational data point rather than a paralyzing chain, you ascend to a realm the average person cannot comprehend. Drop this affirmation in the comments below. I govern my reality by governing my mind. 2. The art of emotional detachment. Human emotions are spectacular tools, But when they sit in the driver's seat, they guarantee your destruction. The ultimate vulnerability of the average person isn't a lack of facts, it is an abundance of emotional impulsivity. They scream when provoked, they gloat when victorious. They confess their entire strategy the moment they feel a sliver of anxiety. They are walking nerve endings, completely at the mercy of their immediate environment. Machiavelli noted that the masses are ultimately governed by two distinct levers: affection and terror. The elite strategist utilizes both levers on others while remaining completely immune to both internally. They realize that when you show someone exactly how much you love them, or exactly how much you fear them, you have provided them with the precise coordinates required to manipulate your decisions. Detachment is not synonymous with being a cold robot. It means having massive feelings but executing deliberate actions. You experience the flash of anger, but you do not let it dictate your opening move. You feel the sting of betrayal, but you process it as data, not drama. You step back from the immediate sensory experience and evaluate the situation from a bird's eye view. When your adversaries find your triggers, they own your behavior. When you remain a blank slate, they drown in their own paranoia. A detached mind operates like a high-definition camera in a hurricane. It observes the wreckage without spinning out of control. It converts insults into insights and rejections into raw market research. If a competitor attacks your character, the weak mind spends hours crafting a defensive counter-argument. The dangerous mind asks, what vulnerability is this attack trying to distract from? The strategy: stop asking, why is this happening to me? Start asking, how do I leverage this asset? Be the mirror. Absorb nothing, reflect everything, and keep your next move completely in the dark. Drop this affirmation in the comments below. Feel everything. Disclose nothing. 3. Smashing the validation matrix. The desperate thirst for social approval is the invisible handcuff of brilliant minds. Modern society has turned people into applause addicts, measuring their neurological health by digital likes, superficial compliments, and societal nods. But remember this rule of psychological warfare: the exact moment you require someone else's approval, you have handed them the remote control to your emotional state. Machiavelli argued that leaders who rely on the fluctuating affection of the public never possess authentic authority. Public opinion is a fickle, unstable substance. The same crowd that cheers for you during your ascent will gladly film your downfall on their smartphones for a few moments of digital clout. When your self-esteem is outsourced, you become highly predictable, easily steered, and fundamentally weak. The approval seeker warps their identity to blend into the background. They become a carbon copy of corporate expectations, sacrificing their raw edge just to avoid making anyone uncomfortable. The mentally dangerous individual forces the background to adjust to their identity. They accept that friction is an inevitable byproduct of exceptional execution. The truth about praise: people praise you when you are convenient for them. They villainize you the moment you prioritize your own vision. True respect is never begged for, negotiated, or bought with charms. It is commanded through relentless consistency and absolute indifference to judgment. Every single visionary was labeled a lunatic before they were labeled a genius. They didn't check the comment section before they decided to change the world. Stop trying to be perceived as good by mediocre people. Focus instead on being effective. The universe respects definitive execution, not hurt feelings. Drop this affirmation in the comments below. I don't request acceptance, I command respect. 4. The apex predator orientation. In every human environment, whether it's an office workspace, a creative industry, or a family dynamic, There are only two active archetypes, the predator and the prey. This has nothing to do with physical size or raw IQ. It is an entirely psychological orientation. The prey mindset hesitates, overthinks, worries about optics, seeks permission, and acts entirely out of fear of loss. They are constantly looking around to see if they are allowed to succeed. The predator mindset observes in absolute silence, calculates the leverage points, eliminates emotional noise, and strikes only when victory is statistically guaranteed. Machiavelli famously wrote that a formidable leader must master the raw force of the lion and the calculating trickery of the fox. The mental predator blends both. They do not burn precious energy on public tantrums or rushed retaliations. They play the long game. They understand that patience is a terrifying weapon when weaponized properly. Hesitation is the ultimate psychological poison. The longer you stall on your execution out of self-doubt, the more your internal power leaks out. Doubt acts like acid on your confidence, slowly eating away at your resolve until your grand plans turn into half-hearted attempts. Calculated silence is entirely different from hesitation. It is the quiet tracking of an objective. Stop viewing survival as a popularity contest. Treat your environment like a grand chessboard. Recognize who is insecure, who is fraudulent, who is leveraged, and who is an authentic threat. When you know what a man wants, you know how he moves. When you track his insecurities, you can predict his next mistake. Drop this affirmation in the comments below. I move with absolute precision. 5. The cognitive disguise. The most lethal weapon in existence is a brilliant mind hiding behind an ordinary face. True power loves obscurity. The second your circle can accurately predict your reactions, your strategic leverage drops to zero. Machiavelli advised that a master of power must appear highly traditional, cooperative, and virtuous on the outside, while retaining total pragmatism and strategic flexibility on the inside. Give the audience the exact show they expect to see, while your real objective develops behind closed doors. This isn't petty deceit, it is elite psychological defense. If you broadcast your ambitions, you give your competitors a map of where to set up their blockades. If you advertise your wealth, you attract vultures. If you parade your intelligence, you make people defensive. Weak egos have a desperate need to be deeply understood by everyone. Powerful minds prefer to remain a complete enigma. When you over-explain your life, you hand your enemies the architectural blueprint to your downfall. A concealed mind creates an agonizing blank space that others fill with their own fears, assumptions, and hesitation. When they can't figure out your angle, they start second-guessing their own strategy. The art of the mask. When you are preparing a massive strike, appear completely content with the status quo. When you are rebuilding your empire from scratch, appear harmlessly broken and defeated. When you are highly dangerous, wear the smile of a casual, uninvested observer. People do not interact with reality, they interact with their perception of reality. Master their perception, and you automatically master their behavior. Drop this affirmation in the comments below. My silence is my shield. 6. Invisible architecture. The highest caliber of human influence is completely invisible. The loudest person in the room is almost always the most insecure, confusing high visibility with actual control. They demand the corner office, the biggest title, and the microphone because their ego cannot survive without constant confirmation. They become an easy target because everyone can see them coming. True invisible power is defined as altering outcomes without leaving your fingerprints on the crime scene, commanding the room without raising your vocal pitch. Machiavelli pointed out that direct, brute force creates immediate, heavy friction and rebellion. When you order someone to do something, their natural human instinct is to resist. Strategic masters prefer indirect navigation. They guide conversations by planting ideas so subtly through questions, positioning, and framing that others believe the thought was their own original genius. When people can easily label your authority, they can map it, measure it, and plan a coup against it. But how can they overthrow an influence they cannot pinpoint? How can they attack a leader who isn't standing on the podium? How to build invisible authority, cultivate absence, make your silence weightier than your speech. Let people feel the sudden void when you walk away from the table. Speak in outcomes. Do not argue over petty steps or processes. Quietly adjust the environment so that the only logical path forward is the one you predetermined. Harness imagination. The less you reveal about your inner world, the more others will obsess over it, creating projections that work in your favor. You do not need a spotlight when you run the grid that powers it. Drop this affirmation in the comments below. My presence speaks louder than noise. 7. Internal conquest before world conquest. You cannot hope to manage an organization, an audience, or an empire if you cannot manage the emotional chemical spike inside your own bloodstream. The world is full of individuals chasing massive fortunes and grand titles who completely lose their minds if their morning coffee is 5 minutes late or if a flight gets delayed. They are conquering kingdoms on the outside while living in an absolute mental slum on the inside. They are corporate giants built on psychological stilts. The ultimate victory is the total conquest of your own primal impulses. An undisciplined individual is a puppet strings attached to their immediate cravings, rage, vanity, sexual impulse, instant gratification, and defensive pride. The mentally dangerous individual views these impulses as internal energy sources to be channeled and redirected with absolute surgical precision. Every single time you choose to delay short-term pleasure, ignore a petty insult, or maintain absolute calm during an emergency, you are hardening your mental armor. Every uncalibrated outburst leaks valuable power. Every restrained response doubles it. Machiavelli observed that empires rot from the inside long before an invading army ever breaches the gates. Protect your interior landscape from self-inflicted sabotage. Drop this affirmation in the comments below. I rule my internal kingdom completely. 8. Structuring the mental citadel. Every single day, the world throws psychological garbage at your head. It comes via clickbait headlines designed to make you panic, unsolicited criticisms from people who have achieved nothing, fake flattery designed to lower your guard, and manufactured cultural dramas. The average person's mind is a public park with no fencing. Anyone can walk in, leave their trash, set fire to the benches, and disrupt the peace. Your mind must become an impenetrable military fortress. Machiavelli noted that a truly brilliant commander builds their fortress walls so incredibly intimidating that the enemy chooses to completely bypass the siege. Your psychological walls are constructed from 3 distinct materials: silence, clear metrics, and radical indifference. When an insult hits your fortress wall, it shouldn't hurt your feelings, it should shatter against your composure. When superficial praise arrives, it shouldn't inflate your ego. It should be inspected at the gate for hidden motives. You must build a psychological airlock that filters everything before it is allowed to impact your internal state. Fortress maintenance. Stop letting mediocre people live rent-free in your thoughts. Guard your cognitive focus with the same intensity that a sovereign country guards its borders. If an information source does not sharpen your mind, provide actionable data, or build your empire, lock it out. Evaluate the data, ignore the emotional static, breathe through the initial shockwave, and respond with cold strategy. Drop this affirmation in the comments below. My mind is an impenetrable fortress. 9. Reigning without a title. True sovereigns never care about the nameplate on the desk, the size of their office, or the title on their business card. Titles are corporate pacifiers handed out to keep compliant people productive and manageable. The real rulers of any room command through sheer psychological weight, unshakable stability, and authentic competence. They don't need a badge to enforce obedience. Their clarity makes obedience the only logical option for everyone else. Machiavelli noted that authority built entirely on formal titles or superficial adoration evaporates the exact second the structure changes. But authority rooted in profound psychological certainty cannot be stripped away by a human resources department, a political shift, or a market crash. The anatomy of unofficial authority, the anchor effect. When an entire team panics during a crisis, they instinctively turn their eyes to the individual who remains completely unmoved. The calmest person automatically becomes the leader, regardless of the org chart. Vocal restraint. They do not rush to fill empty airtime with desperate, anxious chatter. They speak with absolute economy, ensuring every sentence carries real weight. Detached confidence. They don't need a crown to know they are in control. They are comfortable with silence because they don't need to prove they are the smartest person in the room. The throne doesn't make the individual valuable. The individual makes the throne matter. Drop this affirmation in the comments below. I lead through execution, not titles. 10. The modern Machiavellian synapse. To possess the modern Machiavellian mind is to stop viewing the world through the soft, comforting filter of how it should work, and to start interacting with it exactly how it actually works. You stop crying about unfair playing fields. You stop whining about human manipulation. You abandon the naive hope that people will always treat you well out of the goodness of their hearts. Instead, you sit down, grab a pen, and meticulously master the hidden mechanics of human influence. This mindset looks at human behavior through a lens of raw cause and effect. It views an act of betrayal not as a personal tragedy that requires weeks of emotional processing, but as a highly valuable revelation of an opponent's character. It views massive structural chaos not as a disaster, but as the perfect chaotic terrain to climb above the distracted, panicked crowd. This is not a life of senseless cruelty. It is a life of absolute, unblinking reality. It is understanding that morality without operational strategy leads to immediate martyrdom, while strategy without an anchoring vision leads to complete irrelevance. You must walk perfectly between both worlds with absolute focus. Be exceptionally flexible. Adapt to changing environments like flowing water, reshaping yourself to the sudden twists of fate without ever sacrificing your core agenda. Be ruthless with your daily distractions, fiercely loyal to your ultimate vision, and completely detached from anything that attempts to compromise your mental clarity. The outro. The Sovereign Awakening. The modern world is an absolute factory for human fragility. It rewards weakness, amplifies emotional outbursts, and encourages people to surrender their personal sovereignty for temporary comfort. It wants you easily triggered, easily led, and easily managed. But you have spent the last several minutes downloading a completely different operating system into your consciousness. You now understand that the greatest war zone on earth is entirely internal. You know that authentic influence is built in absolute silence, that strategy beats raw emotion every single day of the week, and that self-mastery is your ultimate weapon. The invisible crown you wear cannot be stolen by critics, corporate systems, or economic downturns. It was forged in the fire of your own discipline. The opinions of the crowd no longer hold power over you because you have realized that the crowd is completely blind. The insults that used to trigger you are now just irrelevant noise, data points highlighting your opponent's desperation. The superficial praise that used to distract you is now completely weightless. You have transitioned from the prey to the architect. You are no longer playing by the rules of the matrix. You are designing the parameters of your own empire. Go out into a chaotic world and execute your vision with cold precision. Your mind is your fortress. Your focus is your sword. And the victory is already won inside. If this deep dive rewired your strategic perspective, smash the like button right now. Share this blueprint with the very few people you trust. And subscribe to the channel to ensure you never miss a tactical briefing on elite psychology and mental dominance. Welcome to the path of the untouchable. Leave our final foundational affirmation in the comments below. My mind rules everything.